Are you a natural harmonizer?
It's interesting that one you just removed because that piece was actually sort of non-written. This that piece is actually a response to 9/11.
Oh, really?
Like, someday the skies will be not frightening. That's the whole point of that song. Yeah, it was a response to
That's all we
9/11.
have, and I like crying while singing. Sometimes it's better not to.
They're gonna put carpet on this. So they're supposed to. Yeah. I'm up there.
We have a particular sensitivity.
There was a car family that was killed as that had a connection with this congregation. So we had
Down in University Park?
yeah. Oh, you knew them?
Yeah,
My wife was a colleague of theirs. She had taught at Maryland for a number of years and then went to Georgetown. And they were on their way to Australia for a guest lectureship. Oh, sure. He lived on Underwood Street for
Right, yeah. Sunday morning. Sometimes we're talking to you.
Yep.
We're right on the edge of
Yeah, both of my kids went to university.
When we moved in, it wasn't anything like it is now. Yeah, we were going to adjustment or yeah, that's yeah, the ice skaters, yeah. Yeah.
There was a lot of sort of funny stuff. She was partnered with someone wasn't ready to recognize her. It was a little dicey.
I'm driving Alex down to Florida starting June 10 or 6. Oh, wow.
into it.
Then I'm gonna be there for about a week. And then I fly back. And then I go fly to India. For at least 2.5 weeks. And then I'm back for a while, and I go back on.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Silver Spring. I'm Carolyn Savadkin. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm today's worship associate. I'd like to welcome all guests or visitors in the congregation. Mary Beth Lerner is our welcoming captain today, and Mary Beth is in the back. Mary Beth is here to answer your questions about our congregation, both for those here in the sanctuary and those attending the service on Zoom. The winter holidays focus on the wonder of light. In this morning's all-age service, we will consider the darkness and gifts it can bring. Children of all ages are invited to stay in the sanctuary for the whole hour today. We have a nursery for babies and children ages 6 months to 5 years who would prefer to spend the worship there. Each Sunday, we broadcast the service on Zoom for those who aren't able to join us in person, and we take time to greet one another. We will begin by greeting those on Zoom. Everyone here in the sanctuary, please turn to the camera to your right and wave to those joining us virtually. Now, if you're joining us today by Zoom, it's your turn. Please turn your cameras on and wave to those in the sanctuary so we can see you. I can't see very many people. The third way we greet our neighbors is for those here on Zoom to greet one another in the chat, and those here in the sanctuary to get up and say hello to each other. In a minute or two, the music will start, and that's our cue to go back to our seats and sing the opening hymn. The words to all hymns will be on the screen.
have everyone rise in body or in spirit. We'll sing number 57, All Beautiful, the March of Days. We have the lyrics up on the screen for you to use. All beautiful, the march of days, as seasons come and go. The hand that shaped the world, the crystal of the sealed and laid a silent loveliness on hill and wood and field. All white expanses sparkling clean, the radiant ones unfold. The solemn splendors of the night burn brighter through the gold. Life mounts in every throbbing vein. Love deepens round the earth, and clearer sounds an angel hymn, goodwill to all on earth. Oh, how the bosom fathomed all, the year in beauty flows. Thyself the vision passing by, in crystal and in rose. Day unto day doth utter speech, and night to night proclaim. In ever-changing words of light, the wonder of thy name.
Once again, the final month of the year begins. Hi, Toby. Once again, the days grow shorter and the nights grow longer. The light lessens and the dark increases, luring trees to slow their sap and animals to sleep in warm dens. This season of growing darkness, it beckons us too. The time for yard work is past now. Yeah, really. Autumn's harvests have been gathered in, spring's bulbs already planted. It's time to stop, to pause, to settle in. The season of extra blankets and warm beverages, the time for all things cozy, has begun. Spirit of life, coax our minds and spirits away from the glare of screens, that holiday pressure, the schedules overflowing, and towards all that brings rest and comfort and healing. Create within us and our lives the space to accept the gifts the darkness has to offer. Come, let us worship together. Good morning, everyone. My name is Reverend Kristen. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the settled minister of this congregation. It is time now to light our chalice, symbol of our free faith, and reaffirm our congregational commitment. I invite you to please rise in body or spirit. And let's join in saying the words on the screen as Carolyn lights our chalice. May this light warm our hearts with love and caring and guide us in the ways of truth. As we gather here for worship, we pledge ourselves to the endless search for truth, to the right of each to believe as mind, heart, and conscience dictate. Responsibilities this freedom commands, and to implement our belief in the essential worth and dignity of every human being. Won't you please be seated? As Unitarian Universalists, we draw our faith from many sources. One of our sources is our Christian heritage, and Christians all over the world are in a season of anticipation, a time of waiting, known as Advent. We light our Advent wreath all 4 Sundays leading up to Christmas as a symbol of hope, peace, joy, and love coming into the world. Last week, we lit the first candle for hope. Today, we'll relight the candle of hope, and we'll light the second candle for peace. We prepare for a new era of justice and reconciliation, free from violence and coercion. Please say the first set of words on the screen with me. Peace is possible. We give thanks for those who witness for a world made whole, with all her people one. We light the candles for peace and hope. You kindle the fire that never dies away, never dies away. Within our darkest night, you kindle the fire that never dies away, never dies away. Within our darkest night, you kindle that never dies away, never dies away. Within our darkest night, you kindle the fire that never dies away, never dies away. Within our darkest night, you kindle the fire that never dies away, never dies away. Within our darkest night, you kindle the fire that never dies away, never dies away. Thank you. So usually for our Times for All Ages, we invite those young and young at heart to come up here, but today, please get comfortable in your seats. There are some pictures that go along with today's story, and you'll be able to see them much better from where you are sitting now. So this morning, I'm going to tell you a story in 2 parts. It's called A Story of Light and Darkness, and it was written by my colleague, the Reverend Erica Barron. So often, the winter holidays focus on light, yet light and dark are like 2 sides of a coin, or as we will hear in the story, light and dark are like twins, linked together and both important in their own right. So once upon a time, there lived people who loved the light. As soon as the sun rose every morning, they were up to welcome it, singing songs of celebration for the light. And when the sun went down each evening, they sang other songs, sad songs, songs of missing the light of the sun. They loved the light so very much. They did not, however, love the darkness. Once darkness fell every night, they would hurry to bed, since they could only bear the darkness when they were asleep. Even then, total darkness was frightening to them, and so they always kept a fire burning in every room. The people's dearest wish was that the sun would not set in the evening, that darkness would never fall. But every day the sun set and they sang their sad songs, and they endured the fearful, sad, strange darkness until they could greet the sun again each day. Now, in this land were born two remarkable children. They were twins. One was a girl, and she seemed to shine from within. Whenever she entered a room, everything seemed to get a little brighter, and the people loved her very much. The other was a boy, and he seemed to bring darkness with him. Whenever he entered a room, everything seemed a little dimmer, and the people did not like him. They feared him because he reminded them of the great darkness of the night. But although the people loved the girl and did not love the boy, the twins loved each other very much. And because the girl loved her brother so very much, the people mostly let him be, even though they were afraid of him. Now, as they grew, it became clear that these children were, in fact, magical children. The girl had the power to bring life back when it was harmed or lost. When she was a very small child, she could heal small cuts or bruises. When she grew a little older, she could heal broken bones and larger hurts. And by the time she was a teenager, she could make the crops grow faster and larger and fuller. The boy, on the other hand, had the power to calm and quiet anything. When he was a very small child, he could help his family go to sleep more quickly, thus saving them from their fear of the darkness. When he was a little older, he could calm animals whenever they were frightened and make them still. And by the time he was a teenager, he could calm storms and winds and rains. He could bring anything to stillness. The people's love for the light and fear of the darkness only grew with time, perhaps more strongly with the twins always before them to remind them. And so one day they asked the girl for a favor. They asked her to see if her magic could hold the sun in the sky and stop the night from coming. The girl was reluctant at first, but after many, many months of being asked, she finally decided to try, just to get the people to leave her alone. One day, just as the sun was at its highest point, she went out to the top of the highest hill in the land, and she threw her arms up into the sky, and she asked the sun to stop right there at the top of the sky forever. And the sun stopped in the sky. The people were overjoyed. There was a big celebration. They sang all of their songs celebrating the sun, and they loved the girl even more, at least at first. For the first week or so, it was hard to tell now that there was no darkness to mark the days, and everyone was happy and content. That's the end of the first part of our story. I love to leave you on a cliffhanger. Now Michael's going to teach us a song.
Good morning. Good to see you again. So our good friend Leah Morris has been in residence at our church, and she's graced us with so many wonderful songs, but this is the first time we, as a congregation, we could do something together that has different parts, but the melody, Honor the Dark, if we can get the lyrics up first before we sing it. I think it's the next slide. Beautiful. And we can move Miyako up just a little bit. I don't know if you can scoot her. Scoot. Miyako, you're going to have to move up. Okay. Yay! Yay! Don't we love the great technology that we have here? So, all right. So the song goes like, we'll have the choir sing it the first time and then join with us. It's got some tricky rhythms, but let's see if we can do it. You ready, choir? Can you see me from? Go ahead and stand up, choir. Just the choir. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Honor the dark as you do the light. Receive the gifts that come to us by day and by night. I choose to honor the dark, uncertainty and change. Deliver us from fear until only love remains. Here we go. Honor the dark as you do the light. Receive the gifts that come to us by day and by night. I choose to honor the dark, uncertainty and change. Deliver us from fear until only... Now the parts, and honor the dark, honor the light. Receive the gifts that come to us by day and by night. I choose to honor the dark, uncertainty and change. Deliver us from fear until only love remains. I honor the dark as you do the light. Receive the gifts that come to us by day and by night. I choose to honor the dark, uncertainty and change. Deliver us from fear until only love remains. Honor the dark. No, that's the end. So next time we have 2 more chances.
We know for next time. All right, so story part 2. But soon, the people began to get tired. Shocking, I know. Although they had always slept with a fire to ward off the darkness, sleeping in the full light of the sun was another thing altogether. They tossed and turned and woke up constantly. Some of them remembered that the boy could help with sleep, and they asked for his aid, but his power of bringing sleep seemed to have disappeared along with the darkness. After about a month, the exhausted, frustrated people began to see that this constant sunlight was a problem. Though they still loved the light, they began to wish that the sun would once again move in the sky. And given the people's love of the light and fear of the darkness, everyone was afraid at first to say anything about this growing longing for nighttime. But as they began to confide in each other, they discovered that everyone felt this way, and they finally decided that something needed to be done. So they went back to the girl and asked her to get the sun to move again. It was her magic that had stopped it, and they figured her magic could move it again. So she went back up to the top of the highest hill, threw her arms up into the sky, and asked the sun to move. But nothing happened. She tried again and a third time, but the sun stayed still. Sadly, she turned to the people and told them there was nothing she could do. There was a long moment of growing panic before the boy stepped forward. "Let me try," he said softly. Everyone thought about it for a moment and then decided this was a good idea. So he took his sister's place on the top of the highest hill, threw his arms up into the sky, and asked the sun to move. And the sun began moving at once, rushing toward the western horizon. Within 10 minutes, it had set, and within 15, it was full dark night. The people were caught off guard. They had all come out to the hill to see if the girl's magic would work. They had no fires lit. They hadn't needed them in weeks. They had nothing with which to light their way. They had never been outside at night before, and they were terrified. At first, they tried rushing home to get away from the darkness, but they soon discovered that rushing when you can't see where you are going is a bad idea. They slowed down, but still peered at the ground, trying to get home as fast as they could. But then one of them looked up. "Oh," she exclaimed, "look!" And everyone looked up, and then they all saw the stars for the first time. They had never been outside at night before, and they had no idea of the incredible beauty of a sky full of stars. They all stopped hurrying toward their homes and stared up in wonder, and then they realized how very tired they were. So slowly now, and with more reverence, they started home again, and they all slept for a very long time. The people rested, and they were glad and appreciated the darkness for the first time in their lives. Eventually, the sun rose again, and as it did, the people got out of their beds and sang their songs to celebrate the coming of the light. But at the end of the day, as the sun began to sink toward the horizon, they did not feel like singing their sad songs. Instead, one of the musicians began singing a new song, a slow, quiet song of thanksgiving for the night. And soon the others joined in. It became their new sunset song. And the boy and the girl grew up to be a man and a woman, and both of them were now much beloved by the people. Looking at them, still the best of friends as well as siblings, the people remembered that light and darkness are best in balance. And here ends our story today.
Honor the dark as you do the light. Receive the gifts that come to us by day and by night. I choose to honor the dark, uncertainty and change. Deliver us from fear until only love remains. Honor the dark as you do the light. Receive the gifts that come to us by day and by night. I choose to honor the dark, uncertainty and change. Deliver us from fear until only love remains. Honor the dark.
It is now time for joys and sorrows, and I invite anyone who has something precious to share to come forward and speak into the microphone. Please remember to say your name so we all know who you are. And after each person shares, please join me in saying, "In every joy and sorrow, we are held in love beyond belief." And this morning, I also want to share the joy and gratitude I feel for all of the people who share their gifts with this congregation, whether in the form of time, talent, or treasure. So thank you to everyone who's already made their pledge to the capital campaign and next year's annual budget. Also, all of us here in the flesh today get to share in the joy of the newly installed carpet here in the sanctuary. Many thanks to the property committee, to Jim Street, Linda Barrett, Jimmy Schreiber, John Henderson, Stephanie McConaughey, Rob Dahlstrom, Marcia Joyner, Jim Paoletti, Donna B. Smith, Mary Beth Lerner, and Brian Leibelsberger for coming yesterday to reassemble the sanctuary. To everyone who helped this morning, and thank you to everyone who helped take everything out last Sunday. So what a wonderful community we have here. We make it happen. Thank you. in every joy and sorrow, we are held in love beyond belief. Are there any other joys or sorrows to share today? May all who carry joy feel the rest of us celebrating with you. May all who have shared sorrows aloud and those whose sorrows are too deep for words feel held in the loving kindness of this congregation and in the love that never lets any of us go. So I invite us to just take a moment. You can close your eyes if you wish. Relax your body. Maybe that means unclenching your hands or your jaw, rolling your shoulders. It might mean uncrossing your legs and putting them comfortably both on the floor. Whatever you need to do to be comfortable in your body, I invite you to do that. I invite you to take a deep breath. And just be present here and now. If you have suffered a deep loss in the last year, I invite you to stand or raise your hand if you wish. During the moment of silence, we will share in together so that the congregation can bear witness to your grief. Let us now enter into a moment of silence together.
When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
I share this prayer written by my dear friend, the Reverend Crystal Lee Leedy. Spirit of empathy, who wants good for us, we have forgotten how to feel. The lights of the watchful are popping up on houses down the block, and we are staring straight ahead. The stars are witness to all events, even on silent nights, maybe especially on silent nights, but they are drowned out instead of met in thee tonight. We are ash in the bottom of the fireplace, stagnant and scattered, cold like our extremities, forgetting how to breathe. But we light one candle and two anyway, and we know it seems foolish, even as we light them in sanctuaries filled with people who need one another to remind one another how to breathe. A lesser wreath sits on our dining room table. Maybe we haven't used it in months. But somehow, maybe, this match is just the reminder of the warmth we need, because you only teach hope in the dark. Amen. Blessed be. So how many people here lost power last Sunday night? I know we did. We lost power. It was pretty dramatic in my house. It was really something. 1 minute we had power and the next nothing. And I've heard from lots of people whose power flickered but didn't go out, but ours just shut right off. And at my house, we had spent the afternoon decorating for the holidays, so I had already put several candles out, so it was easy for us just to light those. But after finding the matches and helping our kids light all the candles, the excitement began to wear off. My husband was in the middle of assembling a casserole for dinner when the power went out. So that meant he had to fire up the grill so that we could cook the casserole and have that for dinner, since the oven wasn't going to work. And I'd planned to read and do laundry that evening, but the washing machine wasn't going to work without power, and it's much harder to read by candlelight. And my kids very soon realized that they couldn't watch TV or play video games. At first, all we noticed in the dark was what we couldn't do. But after a while, we began to think of all sorts of things we could do in the dark. When you've lost power, what have you done for fun when you've lost power in your house? What do you do? Yeah, I see a hand. Oh, it's a fidget spinner. What do you do when you lose power in your house? Play cards. How about you? What do you do? What was that? Yeah, spend time with your family. Yes, Finn? Yes, use the theatrical element of the dark and tell scary stories. Yeah, yes.
Light all the candles, and a gas-powered water heater makes you have a lovely long bath.
Ooh. Yeah, take a bath by candlelight. That sounds amazing. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Yes? You did what? You reenacted a Star Trek show? Oh my gosh, after my own heart. Yes, that is amazing. Yes, Bev.
How about play your piano?
Yeah, absolutely. So my family played cards. That's what we did. The kids enjoyed it so much, in fact, that we've been playing cards fairly frequently since then. Sam, our 8-year-old, is getting shockingly good at blackjack and betting. Really, really good, actually. And we didn't do it last week, but in the past when we've lost power, we've played hide and seek in the dark, which is super fun if you haven't done that. So the fun of playing cards and playing hide and seek and getting more rest and relaxation, these are some of the gifts that darkness can offer us, right? And there are many other gifts darkness can offer us. But like the people in our story this morning, these are easy gifts to miss when we focus so much on the gifts of the light. Especially since most of the time we can turn on the lights and on the TV, turn on the video games, do just about any other activity we want to distract ourselves from the gifts of the darkness just by flipping a switch or pressing a button. And there's a lot to distract us during this holiday season, isn't there? I love the winter holidays, but the lead up can be stressful. So much about the holidays has become creating perfect memories, finding or opening the perfect gift, making the most beautiful dinner, decorating the most Instagrammable Christmas tree. I am no exception to this. If you were to look up my search history on YouTube right now, it's full of videos on how to make the perfect beef Wellington. In particular, how to make sure the bottom crust doesn't get soggy. That's my personal cooking Mount Everest. I'm not there yet, but I digress. I know, I have faith. I have faith, yes. Without the darkness, the people in our story never would have noticed the stars. And without the power outage, my kids probably would have spent last Sunday evening lost in their screens and me lost in a mountain of laundry. We probably wouldn't have remembered how much we like playing cards and relaxing by candlelight. We probably wouldn't have spent the evening connecting with one another. As the days grow shorter and the nights grow longer, as the sun rises later each morning and grows darker earlier each afternoon, I wonder how we can make time and space to accept the gifts the dark has to offer. For this month of December, what if we choose to set aside some time every day, not the whole day, but just some time, to turn off the TV and put down the phone, maybe even turn off the lights and light a candle and see how we feel? What if we notice? What do we notice in the present moment? As we learned in the story, light and dark are best in balance, and without the dark, the people never would have noticed the stars. So I invite you to take a moment to yourself and think about what gifts of the light you're looking forward to most this holiday season. Maybe you most love walks outside in December, seeing the sun peek through the bare trees. Maybe it's something else. Now think about the gifts the darkness brings that you most enjoy or appreciate. And in a moment, I'm going to invite any of the children who want to come up and help me to pass out. Yeah, absolutely. All of y'all can come up and help me. I have some little star ornaments, and I'm going to invite you to take those home and on one side, write down the gift of the light that you most enjoy in this season. And on the other side, write the gift of the darkness that you most enjoy. And you can, if you have a Christmas tree, you can hang it on your tree. Otherwise, you could even hang it in your car. You could put it somewhere meaningful to you as a reminder that the gifts of light and dark are best in balance and that the stars are always there, even when we can't see them. Amen. Who wants to come help? You might need to take the rubber band off. And if there's someone willing to hand out the twine, everybody needs a piece of twine. Star. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, and let's join in singing the Leah Morris song one more time while we hear music.
Honor the dark as we do the light. Receive the gifts that come to us by day and by night. I choose to honor the dark, uncertainty and change. Deliver us from fear until only love remains. Honor the dark as we do the light. Receive the gifts that come to us by day and by night. I choose to honor the dark, uncertainty and change. Deliver us from fear until only love remains. Honor the dark.
I invite you now into our congregation's weekly practice of generosity. As you can see on the screen, there are many ways to give your gift to UUCSS. If you're here in person, you can also place your offering in one of the offering plates as it's passed around during the music that will begin in just a moment. Life has given us all so many gifts. May we know the joy of responding to the abundance with gratitude and generosity, the two things that give human life meaning. The offering will now be given and received with gratitude.
And now I'd like to invite Robin Lasky-Moore forward to give our announcements.
Hello, my name is Robin. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees. My pronouns are she, her, hers. Our church is not only the organization that puts together Sunday services, we are a vibrant community of volunteers and staff, a member of the Unitarian Universalist Association, and a piece of the global UU denomination. Today, we have 3 announcements. The first announcement is about Christmas Eve. This year, we are glad to return to having 2 services in the evening with the cookie potluck party in the middle of them. Reverend Caitlin will lead a family service starting at 6 p.m. We will enjoy cookies together at 7 p.m. Bring cookies or other finger food. Allergies and food preferences lovingly accommodated by us together as we cook them. And Reverend Kristen will lead a lessons and carols service at 8 p.m. So that's early service at 6, cookies at 7, and lessons in other service at 8. Both services will be offered both here in the sanctuary and on Zoom.
But no cookies on Zoom.
No cookies. Well, you can bring your own cookies on Zoom. Also, at both Christmas Eve services, we are going to light candles for all the children or grandchildren born or adopted this year. If you have welcomed a child or grandchild into your family since last Christmas, please email Reverend Kristen at minister@uucss.org with their name, their relation to you, and their birth or adoption day. Our last announcement is about the capital campaign, so I would like to invite Beverly Schnetzler and David Rodriguez to the pulpit to give us an update. Thank you so much.
Needed help.
Thank you. I get to be almost as tall as you are.
I know.
Okay, so you're up.
Hello, my name is David Rodriguez. My pronouns are he and him, and I'll take this mask off. Here we go. David Rodriguez, my pronouns are he and him.
And my name is Beverly Schnetzler. My pronouns are she, her. And we are members of the Capital Campaign Steering Committee. The UUCSS Capital Campaign is now in full swing. Many of you have already pledged or scheduled a time to meet with a fellow UUCSS member to do so soon. Thank you for your generosity.
With construction expected to begin early next year, we're making every effort to meet with each of you by December 18th. We need everyone's help and participation as we enter a critical surge period for this campaign. To make this happen, UUCSS volunteers are reaching out to schedule visits with all members and friends of the church. They will ask to visit you in person, in your home, at church, or wherever is convenient for you. If you are not comfortable meeting in person, a Zoom meeting can be arranged. In addition to making your pledge, these visits are your chance to hear details about renovations and other projects, and also to ask questions.
Today, after the service, you'll see Tamara Bowman, member of the Capital Campaign Steering Committee, it's a mouthful, at a table in the downstairs entryway, ready to gather information to help schedule your visit. Please stop by. Every contribution, large or small, is needed and appreciated.
And now, please take a look at our wonderful pie chart there and see our progress towards our $1.2 million capital campaign goal. As of today, I guess this morning, we have raised $618,320, which is 52% of our goal. Thank you. This is great progress. Please help us to keep the momentum going by scheduling and meeting with the Capital Campaign volunteer in the next 2 weeks.
Can you help me?
You're going to do okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Memories of our original sanctuary, now the community hall, back in the day. Long ago, say 50 years or so, our blue glass jewel building gleamed when it was lit at night and beckoning passers-by from New Hampshire Avenue to join us. One cold night in December, we turned the sanctuary into a giant parlor. It was larger than any of our own living rooms. A multifaceted ball hung from the ceiling. Tables covered with lace cloths and polished silver held delicious culinary creations made by our talented cooks. There was a grand piano in one corner with sheets of music ready for singing. There was an area for dancing to music wafting from an old-fashioned stereo in the corner. There was even a bar, a full bar. People arrived in their finest attire. This party invitation included every one of our members and friends. No one was excluded because we lacked the space. What a swell party it was. We could also have coffee houses there with renowned folk singers, men's dinners when our men cooked a vat of seafood chowder and donned aprons to serve us seated at tables. We had a gong show. Ask me about that later. And plays performed by RE classes to enact lessons that they had been taught downstairs. Carolyn Savadkin and I have been here a long time. We've been reminiscing about the old days. We both remember the support we received after losing our husbands, Alan and Charlie. Following their beautiful memorial services, which were years apart, we moved to the community hall. I thought I could do this. And entered the room completely ready with tables, food, flowers, and photos, with our families and friends there to support and comfort us. There had been no scrambling to get ready, moving chairs and rearranging tables. It was there, ready, prepared by our loving congregation. Charlie's and mine's daughters were married in that room. We have had family receptions and birthday parties there and continue that tradition in our own sanctuary here with the wedding of our sweet granddaughter, Allie, and a memorial service for our beloved daughter, Anne, both conducted by Reverend Kristen with loving guidance and grace. I give because this community has supported my family and me beyond all expectations. To continue this support for everyone, we need buildings where we can grieve or celebrate that are appropriately attractive and well-maintained. Once for later birthday celebrations, my kids rented the community hall, but arrived to see a room filled with large auction items of furniture that hadn't been picked up yet, a disorganized book sale in one corner, and a stained and torn carpet. I was embarrassed to have friends there. Let's never let that happen to any of us ever again. This community deserves better. We need the community hall to give us space to enjoy and be proud to bring our friends, and to let our lights shine out to the communities around us so that they are attracted to all we have to offer.
Thank you, Beverly. Thank you. I now invite everyone to rise in body or spirit. Join me in saying the words of our chalice extinguishing, and you can stay risen after that for the closing hymn. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again. Our closing hymn is number 55, Dark of Winter. The words will be on the screen. In the lead up to the holidays, may we all find time and space to accept the gifts the darkness has to offer. Amid the hustle and the bustle, the joy and the merriment, may we all find rest, connection, coziness, and the time to look up and notice the stars. Our worship now has ended, and our service begins.
When Jesus brought his light to earth, a star shone in the east, and the wise men journeyed from afar to hail the Prince of Peace. So let us all sing Jesus' name to light the winter star, and may his light grow brighter still with each new year we mark. When Moses brought his light to earth, his tribe from bondage fled. In desert water from the rock, in wilderness sweet bread. So let us all sing Moses' name to light the winter star, and may his light grow brighter still with each new year we mark. When the prophet brought his light to earth, he reconciled his foes. When four plants raised a black stone high upon his holy cloak. So let us praise the prophet's name to light the winter's dark, and may his light grow brighter still with each new year we mark. When the Buddha brought his light to earth, he saw beyond love and hate. He said to end all suffering, each mind must be awake. So let us sing the Buddha's name to light the winter's dark, and may his light grow brighter still with each new year we mark. When the lady brought her light to earth, she took us to her breast. Each fin and feather, hoof and horn, by her were brightly blessed. So let us sing the lady's name to light the winter's dark, and may her light grow brighter still with each new year we mark. When we all brought our light to earth, we made it a better place. We loved and lost and loved again, and learned from our mistakes. So let us sing each other's names to light the winter's dark, and may our light grow brighter still with each new year we mark. So let us sing each other's names to light the winter's dark, and may our light grow brighter still with each new year we mark.